Good evening, everyone. I'm used to saying good morning. I really have to train my brain if it's a different time of day. This is Ona from Ona's Tarot, and this is our third episode. Or second episode of Moonshine. And Moonshine.
Moonshine.
Yep, and it's gonna. Moonshine is talking about the full moon, altar things that we can put on our altar, stones we can use that will help us kind of navigate through that energy, because we know the full moons are so super intense. So I don't know why my headphones just beep like that. That's weird, but it's the energy right now is beeping all over the place, so it doesn't surprise me. That's really weird. My headphones just beep down there. So a couple of things, I guess. What do you want to talk about? What's happening in the sky, and then we can go over like some altar stuff, and I'll pull a card and we'll just go from there. So
Yeah.
this is Dr. Vicky Skirbo from Seeds of Transformation, excuse me. My guest goddess, okay?
Yes.
For this episode to put together the whole astrological scape of this full moon in Taurus, conjunct, hold on, Uranus,
Yes.
opposite the sun, conjunct Mercury. I don't have enough pillows to like throw myself into to
create the chart
appropriately
in your room.
Adequately describe in any way this with the energy that's going on other than you. So I'm going to give you that part of it. Altar stuff.
So of course we have the full moon, and full moons are always intense. Now, the Taurus moon is actually, the moon is exalted in Taurus. Taurus brings a certain stability to the moon, which you would think would be really wonderful on an eclipse, because an eclipse can be very transformational. However, the moon is conjunct Uranus. We've been working with Uranus and on the north node, which is where the moon is in this eclipse. The sun being in Scorpio, conjunct the south node along with Mercury. Now, what the south node in Scorpio can be a really dark place, I think. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of, I think, what's come forward in the year of 2022 is in part due to that south node in Scorpio. But right now, the sun is going to be on the south node. So a generally dark place is going to be lit up. Mm-hmm. And so we can almost expect that the shadow will show itself in the light of day, so to speak. And so it is kind of a fraught time. It is, they're not kidding when they say that it's a bit dangerous out there. Of course, I'm not saying that to scare anybody. You don't want to put that in your mind, but you just have to be aware that people are under a lot of stress. People are very frightened. People think it's the end of the world. They think it's not just the end of the world, but it's the end of the actual atmosphere, the end of democracy, the end of all of these things. And to a certain extent, they're not wrong, but it's not those things that are ending. What's ending are those things that we no longer need.
And that's because the envelope of this energy is affecting us, and it is the south node, so we're kind of like in that vortex. So it is ending something.
Right. And we're going to see very vividly what that needs to be.
Yeah.
Because the sun is on the south node.
Yeah. So it does sound like really like sort of, that energy of kind of doom, but it's not. It's about accepting that thing that falls out of your hand. What I was telling some of the nurses last night was this Taurus moon seems to be a little clumsy from my experience at home and then getting to work. It was people dropping things, spilling things, that sort of like.
So I just want to tell you about my
Taurus.
day today. Yes.
Right.
So speaking of that, I had a client today, a client of mine who's been coming to me for years. I hadn't seen him for a number of years because of COVID and the like. So he came down to the office. So I was tidying up the office, and I moved something so I could dust, but then I forgot to put it back. And then I walked through the office and kicked it in my Birkenstocks, and I cut my foot, which it was just like a little scrape. I mean, it wasn't like a big deal, right? So I'm like, so then I'm cleaning off the table outside with Michael, and he goes to hand me the like power washer thing, and he throws it at me. I mean, he didn't throw it at me, but he threw it in my general direction, and it fell on my other foot. So then I had like a boo-boo on that foot. And then what was the last thing I did? I did one more thing that I'm like, what am I doing to myself?
It's your,
I know.
tripping on stuff, right? That's what I was telling them. I said, you're tripping on stuff. I said, you see all those potato chips in the elevator? They didn't like grow there, right? They fell. Like things are falling from your hands. You're tripping over stuff. Don't, let me know if I can do anything or get anything, but I do give them in those huddles. We do, each nurse's station will do a huddle, sort of giving a report from the previous shift to the next shift, engage them and make sure that they know I'm available. So that was, that's where that came from.
So the last thing I did, I can't, because this is the best thing I did, right? I smashed my toes, cut one toe, smashed another toe. And then we were moving doors, don't ask. And Michael like pulled to the door, and my finger was between the bottom door and the top door. And the door, like all the weight of the door fell on my middle knuckle, right?
Saturn.
So this is, you see,
Saturn.
So it's my Saturn finger, right,
Mm-hmm.
of my right hand. I have Pluto right now.
How many times does Saturn, who's square in all of this stuff,
right.
Okay, right in the middle, how many times does Saturn have to
Yeah. Clunk us in the head.
Yes. Yeah, you're like, want to fight. I mean, after maybe the second time, maybe like hands up. I'm like, oh, we're gonna do this chore tomorrow. Obviously, this is not scheduled for today. We're gonna put this off. That's where I would go. I would drop it and walk away after like the third or fourth time I got injured. I did do that one time. I was stripping wood in our old house and I got injured every single day. And I had a contract with God. And I said, let it happen right away so that I could finish the project the rest of the day. So whatever it was, if I got like a sliver under my nail or a stipple in my eye, it happened early. I cleaned up, I bandaged up, and I kept going. I said, okay, so no more injuries. We're good. You and I.
So you got your quota done right at the beginning. Such an efficient Capricorn. You
get it over with. After that,
do the hard stuff first, Capricorn.
Yeah. I gave away the heat gun after that project. Never. No way.
So I was happy to find out from you that this is actually considered the Beaver Moon.
Yes, ladies, it's the Blood Beaver Moon.
Blood Beaver Moon, and the feminine, the feminine is taken over, guys.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So the other thing I was doing is I was down in the basement today looking for my old Rocky Mountain High album, John Denver, because on the inside cover, I remember it as plain as day, but I couldn't find the album. There's a picture of him wearing a shirt that's save a tree, eat a beaver. So I thought I was going to use it as a prop, but I don't have it. So I'm just telling you guys that was the prop I was going to use for the Beaver Moon.
That's the
But,
beaver, and beaver magic is changing, right? We looked it up earlier, changing your surroundings, basically taking that log and making it into a house, instinctually knowing what you're gonna need to survive for the next.
however,
Should we give it a number? 3 months?
no. No.
Not
Well,
to
we
make a
could
number?
maybe we could think of it while Uranus is still in Taurus, perhaps, but.
Okay.
So
So-
let me read beaver medicine to you because I think it's important. It says beaver power animal symbol is a symbol of group mind, master creator. And I think that's important. And builder beaver's medicine brings you the wisdom of creativity, maintaining the ability to be productive in all ways, but not limiting your options. Be persistent, using available resources, finding and using alternative ways of doing tasks, master builder of all things, not damming the flow of experience in life, achievement through completion of tasks, understanding the dynamics of group work, protecting cooperation, fertility, and new promise. Beavers are good at teamwork.
Yeah.
So teamwork makes the
Interesting,
dream.
right? Saturn, who rules the
That's
teeth,
right.
right? Saturn rules the teeth, and beavers who use the teeth as a tool is right there.
Right.
Doing it.
Yeah. And it's been doing that all year. It's not new. I mean, it's actually less powerful now than it was in the spring and the summer. So
Really?
it was tighter then, but it's still to the nodes, not necessarily to the sun and the moon, but
Okay.
to the nodes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it feels intense. I'll tell you, I do have to say that I get to be way up on the 4th floor during the times when the moon is super visible. And we had this couple of days of just cloudy all day. And then the moon came out, and it is an amazing, and I posted that in the community page, sunrise in the morning. That I am truly looking forward to. And when the moon, like when she shines through the window, that stretches wall to wall, it's maybe not the location you want to be in, but you want to be bathed in that incredible, beautiful moon. I don't know, like go there just to go to the 4th floor to like snap the moon at this eclipse time. I don't know, we'll see. But I think that if you're, we always practice the honoring what's happening in the skies every couple of weeks with new moon or full moon. If you, and I know this will be posted probably after this full moon, it's okay to stretch your intentions and your magic into after the exact time the moon is full. And I'm Capricorny that way, and like to light the candle right at that moment, just even if it's 1:02 a.m.
It's all timing with you Capricorns.
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to give yourselves like some forgiveness with the timing of what you want to do to throw out there during this pretty significant time. I get alerts, for the astrology videos and stuff like that. So when I see it's like, it's time, it's almost that full moon, or, I see something on Facebook and I like get charged because starting this job, I haven't had time to really pour myself into what it really means and to offer that personally so that, y'all kind of see what everything that brings that energy in. So thank you for this, like the astrology part. I keep going. I know we got totally detoured on that subject, but
do you want me to pull the chart up so we can
pull the chart up. So the more charts you look at, the more you understand.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Let me just find where I have it, and then I'll share it with you guys. I just want to make sure.
Oh my gosh, I did leave. I pulled the chart. No, I'm thinking about it. I don't have that with me.
I thought you did. I thought you.
I do have the full moon chart. I'm thinking about, I got detoured in my brain there. I had pulled the chart for the area for my workplace.
Okay.
Put it in my supervisor's clipboard and I left it there.
Oh dear.
They might,
They might want to know. They'll say, oh,
sorry, ladies, I didn't even.
nurse Ona
kind of
warned
ran
us.
out. Oh man, okay, so sorry about that. Okay, no, I do. I have the chart in front of me, but it is really, it's you have to look at the madness that's going on here.
It's interesting you mentioned about Saturn. Saturn is very tight square to the actual full moon. You're right about that. It's a little off the nodes. It was tighter to the nodes before, but it's still just 5 degrees from the nodes either side. So it's still applying. The resolution node when Saturn is square the nodes in this configuration is the south node in Scorpio. So it's about understanding the structure of how we perhaps related in the past, in a controlling, micromanaging, manipulative, all of those like adjectives that will sometimes come along with Scorpio, not trusting, right? Scorpio is afraid. Sometimes Scorpio can edge on paranoia, which we see. We see like nobody trusts anybody. They don't trust doctors. They don't trust politicians. They don't, but they trust like somebody who says, you can't trust any of those, but you can trust me.
Yeah.
Like this weird sort of patriarchal father figure will fix everything. But, the patriarchal father figure has been in charge for how long now? And the only thing I've seen them do is mess things up. So, not all of them, of course.
That's interesting because it is the Scorpio portion of it is, that south node is like a slow bleed of an old genetic format.
Yeah.
That isn't evolutionary. And here's my meditation thing, which I'm going to do more, and I'm going to get a little bit deeper in, but I keep seeing that Mandelbrot set. And I'm like, I don't do math, spirit. You don't show me a math equation because it's not going to happen. But I can't get it out of my head until I go inside. But there is a genetic component to that south node releasing blood, a slow bleed, Beaver Moon, chewing through an old genetic code, maybe.
And Pluto is connected to your genetic stuff. Pluto is connected to that. So Pluto being the co-ruler of Scorpio, right? Yeah. And so you want to look at what Pluto's doing in this chart. Mm-hmm. And it's in conjunct the other ruler of the south node, which is Mars. So we have this in conjunct between Pluto and Mars. It's a Virgo sign in conjunct, so it has the energy of self-improvement. Yeah. And so it's not all bad news. It's not like, oh my God, we're going to see terrible things. No, this is an opportunity for us to let go of some things that have been really hard to let go of. And you probably won't let go of them unless you've done the work to do that. But if you've done the work, if you've looked at and examined yourself and your life and the way that it's worked out and how might you change it? Mm-hmm. I personally wouldn't change anything about my life. I might have made the same decision sooner. Might have been my thing, but
what a great twist.
But my nodes are fixed too, and I have Venus in Taurus, so I have my own sense of stuckness, we'll say, that I exhibit, and I just it's like I have to do it to the last molecule, and then I'm like, all right, that's enough, but then I don't go back. So once it's done, it's done, but it takes a long time to get done. It's like the longest cake you'll ever put in the oven. Like
It
5 years
is,
later, it's
it's
still
a
cooking.
slow, it's a slow release. And that word release is so different for everybody. And, you like letting go, let go of what? And, when you try to explain what that means, and this is kind of, that Beaver Moon is a slow release, because trust that everything you're chewing through to get to that place, you're going to be safe, requires a little bleeding, and you bandage up and you keep going. But it's that kind of keep going energy, keep going. It
Yeah,
is,
yeah, that's the persistence of Taurus, really.
yeah.
I mean, I can't really even think of something more Taurian than a beaver, right?
Yeah, they
Looks
should be
around,
together
sees what it
more.
can build stuff with, builds a home,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
will whack you with its tail if you come too close. Or
There's
bite
no year of the beaver though, Vicky. We would be able to match up animals like that. They're sort of, which is also a really good point, because it is a time we honor our animals, in terms of it. I'm a Native American stuff coming in. I've been listening to shamanic things, but honoring what you have, and you have enough, and honoring the system that gives you that. So whether it be your plants, all I eat are plants, or animals, or anything, to honor that in this moon, because we had our harvest. Now we need to honor what the harvest is sort of given us.
Right.
I have like a whole bunch of stuff. I did make all the salves and balms out of the calendula and everything I collected off of plants and everything. I've got all that together for the winter store. Maybe that should be on an altar as well. What you harvested and what you can store and keep, right?
Right.
Mm.
So why don't you show up people that Mandelbrot you were talking about?
Yeah, I have to say, and a lot is I'm having trouble sort of pulling apart the moon and my professional person, right? But the moon shining in those windows is, you absorb, this moon energy, and I'm in this space and I have synesthesia. So if I hang out there long enough, this is the image I'm seeing. Those are all the whistles and bells and light in the background that is influencing kind of what I see when I look out at the moon, and when I look out at the sun. There are these triggers now that are making me see this in people, and pain is in there too. Just depends on how deep it is, but it is all this kind of Mandelbrot thing. I'm going to get in there and look and do a nice Reiki meditation. I have time, the next couple of days off, and where I can really get into this moon energy. I know it's tomorrow morning, but
Well, I mean, honestly,
I might be up all night. I don't know.
we've been we've been feeling this for a long. I mean, this is a culmination of practically the whole year in a certain sense, right?
Mhm.
This is when, and of course, we can't ignore the elephant or the donkey in the room, that it's happening on the midterms. So this is a time of choice.
Yeah.
And what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose, making America great again, moving to the past? Or are you going to move into a creative, co-creative, community-oriented, group-oriented reality? Because we can really not survive this without each other. If we
Yeah.
don't start, and it's true of America and it's true of just people on earth, we have to start cooperating and considering each other, and take the profit margin out of it, take the profit motive, not margin. Everybody needs to eat. The profit motive out of things. And I think that there's a certain amount of resilience that comes up with this, self-reliance, right? The moon in Taurus, the sign of self-reliance, that's the way forward. With Uranus there, right? So the waking up of the earth herself, right? It's
I
all
keep having this vision of Ferdinand the Bull in my head. I can't stop this image. I know the book, I might still have it packed away somewhere. It was an old one. I know I'd mentioned it way back early in the channel when Ferdinand was like on his tippy toe and smelling that last kind of flower, the only thing he found that just gave him like such crazy joy, right? And he's like this big dude who just had this, it's that kind of energy, that Taurus energy. Please take a time out, right? To really kind of
smell the roses.
smell the roses,
Smell the roses.
peel off what you don't need anymore, little peel, little bleed, offer it to the earth, and thank what we had when we had the sun in Taurus.
Right.
What did the sun in Taurus give us? Look at all this cool stuff. Thank you, sun in Taurus. No, right?
We have pepper plants that Michael, he put them in late,
Yeah.
and peppers take a long time. So it's not warm enough here for peppers to really develop, but it's been pretty warm. And he took a bunch of the plants and brought them inside. We have like, I kid you not, 100 habaneros. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with 100 habaneros?
You want to dry them. You just put them in a single layer tray in the oven and just turn the oven light on. Don't put any heat on, just the light, and walk away. Just walk away.
Walk away. Okay.
For like 2 days.
2 days. Okay.
Just the oven light heat, which is about 100 degrees. It's such a gentle warmth. It's totally dry in that oven.
Right.
All my herbs, except for the ones I could hang, and all those peppers that I collect, all the cannabis that I had harvested, because it's free of hair, it's free of anything that would intrude, berries, everything. I've replaced my oven light bulb about 7 times. It just burns out, I know.
I wonder why. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
But I don't use the oven that frequently. If you use the oven a lot, I don't know, but it like the salami in the basement.
Yeah. In the cold room or something. Yeah. Did you want to maybe pull some cards? You want to do that?
I do, because it is that time you make salami.
This would be the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, after you butcher the animals, you have to make the salami.
And wine, they usually grapes ripen around September, October. So I think that there's a big process of really, truly, what did we make of our harvest? Yeah, I didn't put any fancy labels on anything, but I do have like the balms and stuff. So I'm gonna pull from Guardian of the Night deck because it's all animals, and this fell out. Oh, here we go. Scorpio moon. I shuffled a little bit. Oh, it's the moon.
There you go.
Of course, it's the damn moon. There's the lunar eclipse. Whoa, there it goes. That is the moon card. So that you see that we have the moon is opposite the sun, right?
Yeah.
It's in Taurus, who's holding the can because it wants to use it as its home. And letting out the little Scorpio fish, South Node, because you can't live there anymore.
It's time to empty, to take out the trash.
You took up too much space. So what is taking up too much space in your head? I know that makes sense.
Or your life.
What has taken up too much space? I can't. What a great moon to let some of that go.
And if you don't let it go, it might actually be torn asunder from you. So you might as well just do this.
Surrender.
I surrender. All right, I'm gonna just pull a couple from this deck. This
I'm
is the
gonna look at a couple of things that I'm gonna definitely include in my altar for
okay.
stones. I was looking, labradorite has been my lucky stone the past couple of nights. I started by myself at work, so I'm like, oh. And labradorite has come in beautifully handy, and how I've been able to craft myself to a person that offers total staff support. Anybody. So I'm like, ooh, labradorite's got to be on this moon. It has to be on this full moon. So I have all my big pieces. I have earrings. I have pieces everywhere, all the time. I'm going to use dragon's blood incense, blood moon. I thought, oh, that's like kind of right.
I have patchouli.
Right.
Patchouli.
South node, blood, patchouli, earth, Taurus.
Patchouli, earth. How about that? Isn't that funny? And I just happen to have it next to me.
Right. I have protection oil that I've gotten that I like to use. And it's anything that you feel like, I really need to be focused right now. So I don't need to be interrupted with things that aren't going to move me forward. So anything, if you want to even say that, something to protect something from following you and occupying that space that you're letting go. Like, don't fill it in with more junk, right? So protection is super important. Beaver should be wearing safety goggles and all that stuff.
Right. Like the basic protection, and then the psychic protection as well, right?
Yeah, same thing everybody does.
Like when I smashed my foot today, I probably should have just had better shoes on.
2 foot, 1 arm, 2 foot, 1 Saturn finger.
One Saturn finger.
What I say about Saturn, dropping stuff, feeling clumsy, don't forgive yourself, because that is going to happen. It's going to happen. Think about just the gravitational pull for the moon hitting that node, being in this Taurian energy, just like stuff will just like fall out of your hands, kind of thing. Yeah.
So I have 3 cards here. I'm using the Handel deck. Handel.
Handl.
Yes, that one. Yeah. So the first one was Aeon, which is the judgment card, right? This is the awakening. We have the letter Shin, which is fire in Hebrew, and we have the Perth, which is the bag of Veerd meaning fate. So this is the bag they hold the runes in, but it's the symbol of fate, a fated time. So we're at a fated time. And we have the Son of Stones, which is the Prince of Stones. This is Taurus, and it's Chief Seattle, which connects us to the earth and taking care of our earth and all the Chief Seattle stuff. Yeah. And then we have the Son of Cups, which is Parsival in this deck, Parsival. So we have the Son of Cups and the Son of Earth, which are the two elements associated with this full moon, right? Yeah. The moon is in earth, the sun is in water, the nodes are there as well. And this is a time of awakening. It's a time for us to wake up to the reality that we're in and the possibilities for the future based on that reality. We have to come from a place, I think, where we actually are, as opposed to where we imagine. It's not that you can't use the imagination to further you along, but we do have to, with Saturn square this full moon, we have to see things for what they are, and we have to take action on those, even though action is in Gemini and it's retrograde. So so there are things that are going to be illuminated now that
Mhm.
will take time for us to, it's not just like, boom, it's done. It's like, here's the issue. Now you have to fix it, kind of
Yeah.
sense, right? And it's going to take time to do that. And we have the time. I mean, we have, in a way, we have nothing but time. And yet we don't have that much time to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It depends on what you're going to focus on, right?
I like
Problems or
the
solutions.
pentacles opposing the emotions there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And the component of and I know it's been a guide for me because I have like an old chief. I call him Chief. Who I actually call him Red, but who I really want close by when I have to be as warrior like and as peaceful at the same time. So it's really cool that you pulled that because I just felt a chord pull with that. It's like, it's been me, dumbass. So like you've been asking me, I'm like, oh, all right, yeah. I feel that energy has been totally protecting me and has been a source and a guide because that's how this moon is working. Definitely. We have also pretty much covered what to put on an altar. What I've been kind of smelling, and of course it's been a challenge to separate, you know, what I smell and see and sort of flashes of light or insight and things like that. It's been orange. Orange has kind of gotten me through, I don't know, certain odors and stuff like that. I've like kind of clocked into that for, and it's vitamin C. It's that time of year where you have to watch, and it's flu season. So beef up on your C is probably a good thing. Pearl wants to say he thinks that oils are also important. He likes oil of sardine. I don't recommend putting that on your skin, but
Unless you want to attract Pearl.
let's put you on Pearl to come over. I did make salves and balms from all the stuff that I harvested. So thank you, Pearl, made a note of protecting your skin, using some of what you've harvested to infuse yourself with good feelings, good intents.
Right. And in your case, you've harvested plants, we've harvested plants, but it's not just about plants. It's about whatever it is that you've harvested this year. How is it that you're going to utilize those resources in the best way possible? Because that's really what I think Saturn wants us to do. And to a certain extent, what Taurus drives us to do. Like, what's essential in your lives, guys? What's the most important thing in your life? And that's what you need to focus on, while letting go of all those things that sort of drag you away from your own light, really, from your own light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really neat. And just before I had I texted you to say, are you ready to come on? I had a Tom Petty song who I'm probably going to forever associate with my mom, and come in American Girl. So if we can close with a Beaver Blood Moon and a song to offer us enlightenment. And when I mean that, like, just feel a little bit lighter, that the energies with the midterms and the rhetoric and the narrative, what you see, what you hear, is so charged right now that
Right. And a lot of it is manufactured. So we have to remember that too. They want to keep us enthralled and in stress. And you don't have to do that. If you voted, you don't have to do anything else. If you want to make calls, or if you want to, drive somebody to the voting polls, certainly do that. But beyond that, it's out of our hands.
yeah.
And I have a lot of faith in the American public. I think that I think a lot of people right now are not actually saying what they think because they don't want to get attacked.
right.
So you can speak with your vote and no one ever has to know.
Yeah.
But the
So,
change
and that
happens.
falls in this energy of the midterms is, there are people that are probably going to be emotionally charged and need to scream and yell or whatever is going to happen in very isolated incidences. If you expect it, you generate it, and when you generate it, you go find it and you start to generate it more by making it bigger, by telling people. So you're right, if you've already voted, order a pizza. Order
Yep.
pizza and put some anchovies on there for Scorpio so that you get
And
a
maybe
lot of
some meatballs for Taurus.
it's anything that's sodium related, get it in there and flush through what has been taking up too much space in your body.
In your field,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be too much politics, too much worry, too much responsibility, just
Sugar.
too much. Oh, really? I have to. Okay. All right. I
Well,
had banana bread for breakfast.
if it, with Nutella, right? I just had like panettone. I got one of those panettones. It's a Christmas bread. It's got like fruit chunks, dried fruit chunks in
Right.
it.
It's eggy. It's
What do
very.
you call it? Do you call anything different? Or I know there's a German version that is the same kind of thing. It's not dense fruit cake. It's a
Right.
fluffy bread
Yeah,
with
panettone. It's like a sweet bread. It's like
yeah.
a sweet bread with fruit in it.
Yeah. And as I was cutting it, I'm like, well, this would make a nice French toast. And I'm like, it would also make a nice palette for some
For some
Nutella.
Nutella. My girlfriend calls English muffins butter delivery systems.
Exactly. So I went with the option where I didn't have to turn on the stove or anything like that. I thought that worked. But yeah, I think I do. And I've gotten into where sugar has offered me some kind of comfort or something that nobody else can. So
well, it's quick comfort anyway. It's quick comfort.
It's taking up a little too much space. But other than that, I'm doing well. I want to thank everybody who kind of joined in and listened, and please like and share. That's for sure. And
Thumbs up.
Yeah, and thumbs up that these moon tips for the Moonshine episode will help you something will create a buzz, right? That beaver buzz that you can hear it. That'll make you start to think we are moving in another direction. We have options. We can go south, we can go north. If we're going north, then we need to be a little bit lighter. So that means you got to drop some of that stuff off at the pool. Scorpio. All right. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much. And a special thank you to some of to all the people I work with, actually, who, when they kind of learned what I did, were very supportive and watch a channel or starting to watch a channel and have really boosted my energy. And I don't feel like I have to hide who I am so much publicly as I used to, as I practice my professional career. It's nice. It's really nice.
It's nice.
So yeah, I want to thank everybody for that. So I love you, love you, love you. And this will probably post just after that full moon. You've got a little time. You've got time to think, and we'll see you later, if not tomorrow. I know I say that a lot, but we'll see you sometime this week for sure. So
yeah, and we'll definitely see each other for the new moon in Sag.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Vicky. I can't tell you how I always know I can rely on you for the whole spectrum of weirdness. If I have to tell you about something or tell you about something that's weird or call you, are always there for me, and you don't even know how profoundly grateful I am. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Minnie.
Love
Goodbye,
you
everyone.
guys.
We love you. See
And
you in
see-
2 weeks.
Yeah. Bye.